folks, it's Jeff here. Just a quick reminder, if you're loving Disney Coast to Coast, there are a couple of easy ways that you can support the show. We'd love it if you could rate and review us on iTunes, or wherever you listen to the show. This is a simple way to help other Disney fans find us. Also, go ahead and share your favorite episodes on social media and be sure to tag us. You can find all of our social media information at DisneyCoastToCoast.com. And finally, I just want to say thank you to all of you who listen every week. Your support is very appreciated, and we love that you're enjoying our Disney geekiness. Now on with the show.
Are you craving a trip on Space Mountain? Well, we've got the next best thing. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePauli.
I'm Patrick Dougal.
And Patrick.
What up?
I just got back from Walt Disney World.
You did.
I did. And so before we jump to the news, which there is a lot of, let's have a little trip report, shall we?
All right.
Travel along with us in today's Disney Trip Report.
So, Pat, there was a lot of new stuff in Orlando. Even though it's only been a year since I've been there, so much new stuff pops up, hence the reason why I went. I got to start with Happily Ever After.
Yeah.
I might have a new favorite fireworks show. It's always been Remember Dreams Come True for me at Disneyland. I think Happily Ever After wins. That show is mind-blowingly good.
So good.
Yeah, and we've talked about it on the show before. I've seen video of it, but of course there's nothing like seeing it on Main Street. I had a prime spot right at the end of Main Street, right in the center of the street. It's just, it's kind of mind-blowingly good. I just love kind of the randomness of like Hunchback of Notre Dame and Hercules, like a lot of stuff we don't see a ton of. I could have done without Moana, but not Moana. I'm sorry, Merida. Could have done without Merida.
I was like, what?
Sorry, I apologize for that. Could have done without Merida. But overall, I just kind of loved it and was like, this is fantastic. And projection on that castle is beautiful. And I did actually see Once Upon a Time for the first time as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a lovely projection show on the castle. Like, really lovely.
After.
Well, after Happily Ever After, which is ridiculous. Yeah. But also, it just needs to go away. Like, as lovely as it is, it's just, we got that in Happily Ever After, all the projection stuff. So it seems a little bit lackluster after seeing such a spectacular fireworks show. But overall, Happily Ever After, a must-see at the Magic Kingdom, I would say.
Yeah.
Also tried some new foods because I have friends obsessed with Disney foods. Now, these aren't new foods, but they're new for me. I finally had, because of Aaron Wallace from Zippity Doo Pod, he told me I had to have school bread in Norway.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's way bigger than I would ever expect. It's like a dessert, a pastry, but it's like kind of just
bread.
It's bread, but filled with like super sweet deliciousness. Whereas I thought like they were using the term bread lightly, like it would be more like a cake. It's actually kind of like a bread bowl filled with delicious sweet stuff. So school bread in Norway at Epcot, highly suggested. Thank you, Aaron.
Good stuff.
And then have you ever I stayed at Saratoga Springs.
Okay.
And my friend Derek over at the Mad Chatters podcast, he told me I had to have the birthday cake bread pudding.
No.
Really good. It's what it sounds like. It's, the birthday cake with the different colored confetti stuff in it, but like a bread pudding type texture. It's really good. It's right in the little thing off the little food place. What's it called? Like the Animator's Palette? Did I make that up?
Saratoga Springs.
Right connected to the lobby. I think it's Animator's Palette. I could be making up the name though. But I'm not making up birthday cake bread pudding. Delicious.
There you go.
So thank you, Derek, for that suggestion. Both really, really good. And yeah. Speaking of food, though, so I went to Disney's Hollywood Studios, which still remains like my favorite park. I love that park, even in the mess it's in. I love it. I had a moment. It's so good. It's so good. I had a moment of silence in front of the Great Movie Ride. It was kind of course, I'd prefer the Great Movie Ride be there, but it was kind of nice to like not have a line there and just be able to like kind of mosey around all the handprints and stuff and just like have that moment. And obviously they got signs up for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, but over in Disney's Hollywood Studios, Pizza Rizzo. This is the first time I've been there since it opened. I did not eat there. Have you been inside there?
No.
Okay. There's like barely anything Muppets related in there. It is so clearly made just to be rethemed super quickly. It was actually really heartbreaking because I thought it would be like fun and zany, and they got like some pictures of the Muppets up on the wall. Other than that, nothing. So fear for the Muppets. But I will say I did do Muppet Vision 3D.
Got it.
It was packed. I'm sure partially because there's not a ton to do at the studios, but
Yeah.
it was packed. And let me tell you, the crowd was laughing so much, even during the pre-show. Tons of reaction. So I think there's still life left in Muppet Vision 3D.
Maybe.
Just putting that out there to all you Imagineers listening.
Maybe.
Let's see what else happened. I do want to mention I went to the Walt Disney Presents, which used to be One Man's Dream. Actually, it's a lot more like One Man's Dream than I expected. I really thought a lot of the Walt History Museum section would be gone. It's still there. I'm very happy about that. Saw the model for Toy Story Land. Saw the tiny model for Star Wars Land.
Yeah.
What is it, like at 1/20th of the model or something? Met Star-Lord and Baby Groot. Baby Groot is adorable.
Baby Groot is awesome.
And I was happy to see that they are showing Walt's little 15-minute film.
Good.
So that's back.
Until a preview jumps in there.
Exactly.
Which will be probably Coco, I think.
Coco's coming up there. I did think that, honestly, that was going to be gone, though, altogether. So I was happy to see that that was still showing. So that's something. Is there something I'm missing? Something missing new?
I think you went to Animal Kingdom.
Oh, yes, Disney's Animal Kingdom. In a little place called...
The little land over there.
Pandora, the World of Avatar. Now, Pat, you know me pretty well.
Yes.
As far as my likes and dislikes, how do you think I felt about Pandora?
Well, I know you don't really care for the Avatar series.
That's true, yes. But I do not care for the Harry Potter series and love the theme park. So that's not true. It's not really a fair judgment.
Well, judging from my opinion, I do like the land, but I do think it's, for the amount of time put into it, it's very small. But I feel like you would think it's pretty immersive.
I'm not a huge fan.
He's not a huge fan.
I'm not a huge fan. Okay. Loads of respect for the folks who made Pandora, the World of Avatar. As far as, I think one of the most difficult things to do is make nature look real. Make fake nature look real. Yeah. I think that's tough. When it comes to the rock work in the land, when it comes to the vines, like, they're beautiful. When it comes to the plant life, I think the description of, like, the E.T. ride is pretty accurate in a lot of cases. So...
Did you visit both day and night?
Yes. Okay. So I first visited at night because my schedule, I had such a compact schedule that I was like, okay, because I had the day I went to Animal Kingdom, I was like, I got to get to Magic Kingdom to see Happily Ever After because every other night's a Halloween party, blah, 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 blah. So the night before, I went to see Rivers of Light. It's fine.
There it is.
It's fine. I actually forgot to mention it's fine. But so I said, well, at least let me go through Pandora real quickly to see the nighttime version.
Yeah.
The nighttime version's bad, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah. Now, when you went, I think it was still dark. Like, now they've brightened it up a lot. We were just very overpromised with nighttime Pandora, I believe. I just remember distinctly seeing the video of, like, our footprints making images in the ground, and like none of that exists. None of that bioluminescence magic exists. It's just a lot of black light. And honestly, my first feeling was, I feel like I'm in a laser tag arena.
Miniature golf.
Or paintball. Like, that's what it felt like to me. I did not like Pandora at night.
I do.
You do? Mm-hmm. You're a big fan? Okay. I'm what did you like about it?
I think I like how the atmosphere changes dramatically from day to night.
I'll give you that, yeah.
From even the sounds of the park or, I don't know, like the blacklight areas. But, like, I don't know what you experienced because, like you said, when I went, it was more subtle than I think it is now.
Yeah, it was definitely brighter. It like I said, laser tag, I think, is a very good description of it. I don't know. But I wish that nighttime wasn't my first impression of it. I would prefer it the other way, but based on my schedule, I knew that was going to be the way that it worked out. So it was cool. So I went back during the daytime. I went the next morning. I showed up very early, like 45 minutes before the park opened, because I was like, I do not want to wait super, super long for Flight of Passage. So I get there, we're all start getting brought into Pandora, the world of Avatar. So I was with a couple of friends of mine in Orlando, as well as my buddy Derek that I went with. And we're walking in, and everybody's walking in, and I get that view of the floating mountains. And me personally, I did not feel that, I didn't feel the chills through the body. I didn't, like, the best comparison for me with Pandora is the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Because I don't care for either of the movie franchises, but both are theme park lands, which is something I'm into. When I first experienced Harry Potter, when I saw Hogwarts, like literally chills through the body. When I experienced that ride, literally cried. Like, it was beautiful. I didn't get that with Pandora. And so after I saw the quote unquote floating mountains, I looked around at everybody else, and there were a ton of people. And I was waiting to see people like look up and go, oh, wow. And not a single person did. So
I don't. Avatar did very well in movie-wise, just for visual effects a lot. But, like, I don't think the connection between Avatar and the connection between Harry Potter is the same at all. In terms of, a lot of people grew up their whole lives reading Harry
I'm talking
Potter
about me.
and seeing the
No, I'm talking about me personally. I feel
but
the
in
same
terms
way.
of other people, like you were saying, other people,
Okay.
There's one movie of Avatar,
Fair
and
enough.
there's a full series and emotional character connections and all that between Harry Potter and Avatar.
Okay.
So I don't think a realistic expectation is people to like first time videos of people seeing Wizarding World, people fall to their feet knees and cry.
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna happen with Avatar.
Okay, that's a fair point. So I did go to Flight of Passage first. I gotta say, maybe waited 30 minutes.
Nice.
But because it was such a short wait, didn't see the floating Avatar or the floating
you walked
Navi.
right by it?
They closed the room. It was like a dark room.
Oh,
so
weird.
I went and experienced it, and I thought I knew. How do I put this? I pretty much had an idea in my mind based on what I knew of the attraction, what it was going to be. I was very sad to find out that I was 100%, what I thought was 100% true. It's nothing. It's like a 20% better Soarin', in my opinion. I like Soarin'. I like Flight of Passage. It is not this spiritual revelation that some people talk about. Some people, a lot of people. In fact, I think you loved it quite a bit.
I liked it a lot, yeah.
It's a great updated ride system. The biggest it's Soarin'. That's what it is. It's soaring on a different ride vehicle, which is okay. It's just nothing revolutionary. And you know me, I like revolutionary when it comes to attractions. The loading system for Soarin' is weird, but for some reason, it never bothered me. I felt like they worked in the whole, like, engineering theme. Like, I thought it fit well with the theme. Although we're clearly going into this ride system that just goes up into the air, it never bothered me. For this case, the loading in the separate rooms and then the wall lifts and you're in it, like, it works. It's nice. I don't think it's revolutionary. I thought it was pleasant, like, is what I would have to say about Flight of Passage. It's pleasant. I had no desire to, like, ride it again or anything.
Oh, I rode it like 3 times.
No, I was like, okay, that was pleasant. It's cool. I don't understand this changed my life, because a lot of people have been saying this is amazing.
No, I don't think this is the most revolutionary ride out there. I do think it's one of the better rides to come out. But I still like it. I like the aspect. There's a lot of little details. Like, even every individual ride seat has like a little camera that like matches up when you're like brain syncing. And I like the idea that wall thing is you connecting to your avatar like miles away. I think the projection is very crystal clear, especially it's a 3D Soarin' too.
I feel like it's 3D. I feel like the Soarin' projection is pretty clear these days since Around the World has come.
Yeah,
I think it's
but
clear.
it's up to par. I do think when I wrote it, I don't know if they scaled back, but there's a crap ton of water. Did you get like?
I got
really
wet. I didn't get.
They were like really like. I thought someone had like a super soaker gun. But
I might have liked that actually.
Yeah,
but
I just remember getting really wet on it.
I will say, so adding scent scent to attractions is very popular these days. It has one of the 2 best scents as far as when I say best, actually smelling natural. That whole musty jungle smell that they use, which I know King Kong 363D uses, and that feels so real to me, as well as the elephant hay dust in Soarin'. So I do appreciate that the smell is so good. I hate it when like a smell like smells like perfume as opposed to what you're supposed to be smelling. So yeah, Flight of Passage, it's fine. River Journey, what'd you think about that?
I mean, I don't care for River Journey.
I love River Journey. I prefer River Journey to Flight of Passage, and I'll tell you why. I know this is a very unpopular opinion. Of course, as far as continuity is concerned, I still have issue with the whole bioluminescence all day long, although there is apparently the story out there that there's an area of the jungle that's always bioluminescent. I wish that was more clear in the story.
I was going to say, speaking of story, what is the story of that ride?
But what's the story of Flight of Passage? Flight of Passage, I mean, these are very much experiences as opposed to, something went wrong, we need to fix it. And I'm cool with that. I'm totally cool sitting back, relaxing.
I think there's more of a story in Flight of Passage. It's you.
Sure.
It's you connecting to an avatar and experiencing their rite of passage, which is connecting with the Banshee that every avatar goes through in their life.
Well, the story of River Journey is you're sitting in a boat
and you go through the river.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I liked about this was the best, and this does not appear this way on YouTube videos. In person, I felt it was some of the absolute best projection mixed with practical sets. There were like the first Navi we see, I thought was an animatronic, and I literally turned to my friends and I was like, there's more than one animatronic in here, because of course I knew the shaman at the end.
Yeah.
And like, that's a projection. And I looked, I'm like, oh my God, like first glimpse, boom.
Yeah.
I was beautiful in the coyote-like creatures going through. Beautiful. One thing I loved. Do you remember one of my biggest complaints with the Shanghai Pirates with the projection of water and all these waves, and then the water you're riding on is very like smooth. That drove me nuts. I'm like, why aren't there wave machines? So in this attraction, I believe what I saw was a projection of waterfall, and then at the base where it actually hit the water, like that was bubbling, as if the projected water was creating. It was just
as only you would notice.
Beautiful, but that's the point. Nobody should notice that, and people, you notice it if it doesn't make sense, but it does make sense. So it was so beautifully done. I appreciated it. The only effect or lighting and such in this attraction that I didn't care for were those spinny things. Those look cheesy. I don't care for those. Everything else I thought was beautiful. Does it look like a Rainforest Cafe? Yeah, but I think it looks like a really beautiful one with really stunning projection work. And of course, that shaman animatronic is mind-blowingly good. Like,
crazy.
Oh, I love that animatronic, and she's giant, and I love her, and I really loved it.
My problem with River Journey is how I think it's like a minute long.
I went in knowing that. A lot of people were like, oh, it's so short. So I was kind of expecting like you turn a corner and that was it. So it didn't feel short to me. It was also my first time experiencing it. Repeatability, I feel like it probably would feel really short. My guess is probably 2.5 minutes. That would be my guess. I could be wrong about that. But it didn't feel particularly short, mostly because I was expecting extremely short. In any case, those are my feelings about Pandora. It's nothing that I believe you should fly to Florida for.
Did you eat there?
I did. The food is mediocre. The food is, in my opinion,
I loved it.
Looks better than it tastes. There's nothing wrong with the taste of it. It was just, once again, nothing.
What'd you get?
I got I think the same thing as you. At the Satuli Canteen, I got the cheeseburger steamed pods. Did you get that?
Okay, no, I get the protein bowls.
Oh, okay. Those are good. Okay, so I got the cheeseburger steamed pods. They taste like a McDonald's cheeseburger.
They do.
But they're very beautifully presented in these nice pods. So the presentation, lovely. Flavor, fine. And I also got the famous blueberry cream cheese mousse, which is gorgeous. First bite, I like had a face of, ooh, and my friend's like, oh no, it's not good. And then I took the second bite without like the sauce on the side, and much better. I don't care for I think it was, I guess, a blueberry sauce. Didn't care for that. And then it just kind of tastes like a cheesecake. It's fine. It's beautiful to look at. But the food, I was not like, oh, I gotta come back here because it tastes delicious. It was okay.
Protein bowls are good.
Yeah. So So yeah, that's pretty much my opinions of Pandora: The World of Avatar. I do find it interesting when I was driving home to my house in LA. I was talking to my buddy Derek who I went there, like, oh my God, that was such a fun trip. We did so much new stuff. We did, Halloween Horror Nights, and we did Volcano Bay, and we did Happily Ever After. And I just stopped, and he goes, we did Pandora. I was like, oh yeah, we did Pandora. So like, it was just kind of forgettable in my mind. It's a nice addition to Disney's Animal Kingdom. Not worth an exclusive trip for that, in my opinion. But you'll enjoy it the next time you go. That's how I feel. Anyway, shall we move on to some news? That's a lot of trip reporting, but let's move on to the news.
Let's do it.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
Well, speaking of Pandora, because you loved it so much, there are rumors that they're actually maybe expanding Pandora. Recently, Bob Iger had a interview or a conference where he said the ratings for Avatar have been exponential, especially Flight of Passage has been rated the highest rated attraction.
I call BS on this, number one. Number one.
It has had the longest line, but I think that's because it's new.
It's new.
Yeah.
So that's not a fair judgment, number one. And number two, like, from what I hear within the company, it has not been super successful. It is not getting the attendance they expected. So I call BS, but all right.
But from Bob Iger's perspective, they said it's doing so well that there's no doubt that they're expanding rumors in the works.
Well, not just expanding, but he, quote, said, we have the rights to build other Pandora lands at other parks. So my guess is kind of Shanghai. That's just where my head went.
I don't think anywhere in Walt Disney World.
Yeah, so I think Shanghai's where we go. Here's my argument with this. They did so much work to convince us that Animal Kingdom is a good home for Pandora, and I buy it hook, line, and sinker. Like your reasoning for environmental stuff and just stuff like, I buy it. It fits in Animal Kingdom. I accept. Don't go putting it in random places, because then you detract from that fight that you fought to make us accept it.
I agree, but I also think it could work in some areas. I know what Shanghai has an adventure or lost continent kind of area where they have the ropes course. I don't know the specific names, and so does Hong Kong has a adventure kind of land too. That I think, like a jungle area, that I think it could work in as well. But it would. The whole conservation message that they were going for specifically for Animal Kingdom makes more sense.
I wouldn't be surprised if it did better in Shanghai, because I feel like those overseas audiences love those movies more than the U.S. audiences. So it makes sense in that respect. I just don't think it should be replicated, personally.
But Hong Kong is going through their whole overhaul right now. So I wouldn't doubt it.
You think it might go to Hong Kong?
It could.
I mean, they need something.
They're getting that whole castle overhaul.
Yeah.
Who's the one getting the full Arendelle?
Isn't that Tokyo Disney Sea?
No.
I thought it was. Maybe it's Hong Kong then.
Or Tokyo Disneyland. I don't remember.
I thought it was Tokyo Disney Sea for some reason. No. We'll have to look into that and get back to you. But yeah, Pandora, more of it. I'd say leave it as it is, and let it be what it is. By the way, it can easily be rethemed. Just saying.
Pandora?
Yeah. Oh my God. So easily be rethemed. There's...
To what?
Just Animal Kingdom nature. If for some reason at 20 years or 10 years after the final movie comes out, which will probably be 60 years from now, if they're just like, no, we're like kind of over this whole thing, they can retheme it easily, in my opinion. But also happening over at Walt Disney World, which I saw firsthand and was surprised at this, Stitch's Alien Encounter character greeting. So Stitch's Great Escape now officially has a new sign hanging under it.
So it's the meet and greet.
I knew that this was happening. I did not expect, I'm talking not like just a sign out front.
No. It's on, it's put on there.
It's up on the whole sign marquee. Yeah, it's a Stitch's Alien Encounter character greeting. It's simply that. You go into the pre-show room and you meet Stitch. Supposedly Disney is saying that the Great Escape will return for holidays and such. So I guess it's an easily removable sign, but I will say personally, it looked a lot more permanent than I ever expected it to be. So it's on its way. it's way out. I think it's fair to say.
Let's go back to Alien Encounter.
Yeah, sure. Maybe
I
the
want an
time's right.
Alien Encounter meet and greet.
Oh, now that would be special.
Yeah, especially with I forgot his name.
Oh, the little guy,
cute one.
the little guy.
It began with an S.
I don't know.
Someone will comment.
Just call him Furby.
It's like Scruffy or something.
He looks like the guy in the new Jedi trailer. Anyway, we'll get to that later. We'll get to that later.
Also, starting October 15th, you can now bring...
Which is now, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Dates. It's
Listen, it's October. Everything blurs together.
This month is rough. For us, this is our
do so many
craziest month.
So starting now, 4 Walt Disney World resorts are allowing pets to stay in their rooms. You can have up to 2 dogs in a room over at the Art of Animation, Port Orleans Riverside, Yacht Club Resort, and Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort. Other than Yacht Club, which is $75, the other 3 are $50 a night.
Yeah.
And it includes when you check in, you get a welcome kit for your dog that includes bowls and doggy bags and a pee pad and a do not disturb sign so the maids know that you have a dog in your room.
Yeah, this is genius.
Yeah, it's great.
They're going to make so much money. Like, this is really smart. From what I was reading, they very much will be, like, secluded into certain areas. So
Yes.
if you have pet allergies...
It seems like you'll always be on a bottom floor as well, because it said your walkway will lead right into a grass area.
Yep.
So it's easily accessible, and unfortunately, there's no like specific like doggy daycare at the hotels. You'll still have to go if you want to do the whole hotel thing. They have that separate dog facility.
Yeah.
But they can just stay in your room if you leave a do not disturb sign on your door.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm a little surprised it took this long for this to happen. It's very smart. I didn't read anything about cats. I'm assuming they're welcome as well. They're easier than dogs. That'd be my assumption, but I don't know for certain. But yeah, that for people who have pets, I know that traveling can sometimes be difficult because of them. So I think it's very, 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 very smart. And I don't think if you stay at any of those 4 places, you'll be disrupted at all. If you're
now I want to stay at those places, like get all the dogs.
Nice.
But I think it's cute that they get a little Pluto welcome kit.
Yeah, it's like a genius, absolutely. But your dogs are expected to be very well trained. By the way, I don't know how they really. My guess is they ask you questions and you have to just say yes to them. But
yes.
But yeah, you have to have well-trained dogs that aren't barking while you're at the park. Anyway, happening over at the other coast here in Disneyland, Disney California Adventure's gotten a little bit of a surprise lately. I don't think that these are official. This is still testing. Am I correct? Or is this like a daily thing now? We have some talking characters.
I don't think it's daily. I haven't seen like videos every day, but I see them sporadically.
Okay, so we've had a talk.
It's definitely not advertised. It's just a happening.
Okay, so we have we've had talking characters here for a while. What's the proper language? Not talking.
Words with Mickey.
No, but the articulated.
Oh, yeah.
We've had the articulated characters here for a while with shows like Mickey and the Magical Map and the Newsboys read the trolley. But this is like the first time we can meet and greet them. Of course, the Magic Kingdom's been doing this for a long time. But here's the interesting thing, and correct me if I'm wrong. I've never seen a group of them together for a meet and greet.
No.
Until here at Disney California Adventure. We had Mickey, Minnie, and Donald's together, all articulated. In my opinion, do you find these awkward in general? I find meeting the characters awkward because there's just always this delay in conversation between, Mickey's little helper hitting certain buttons and making the conversation seem organic.
Genuine.
But with having 2 or 3 characters together, they're actually conversing with each other.
Yeah.
So it's all timed beautifully. And then you'll get a response in at a certain point, of course, so that you're part of the conversation. But it worked really well. So this is happening over at the Redwood Creek Trail. As I don't believe it's on the schedule either. But obviously something's happening here. They're in cute little Redwood Creek costumes and everything. So totally worth checking out. I have not seen it in person. Have you?
No. Just a lot of video.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. I like it. What else is going on?
Well, we have a return date for Paint the Night. which we learned at the D20 Expo that Paint the Night will be moving over to Disney California Adventure, and that will be coming in summer of 2018.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I'm happy that we're still getting it, but it seems so far away, and that's because we have Pixar Fest coming. And then Pixar Play's moving over to Disneyland, so we're getting Paint the Night over at DCA. And there's rumored of a Pixar Float edition to Paint the Night, which is rumored to be Inside Out.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
we know when we can do it again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Woo.
Yeah, so supposedly I've heard part of the reason it's been gone so long. I know there have been a lot of rumors about the floats need fixing and stuff. Apparently they really wanted to build up the anticipation and desire for it, and they want Pixar Fest to be like this big thing.
Yeah.
So the more new, and it being gone a year and a half at that point, will make it new again for a lot of people. So it's exciting. I think that one of two things needs to happen. Either the frozen float needs to go away because of its height, which may be the one replaced by Inside Out possibly, or those red car trolley cables need to just go away. Which do you think will happen? From what I understand, those cables are just decorative. The trolleys can run without them. That's what I've been told. I don't know 100% if that's true, but I think I think the frozen float's going away.
Really?
If they're putting a new one, I think it might possibly be replacing it. I don't know.
No.
No?
I
You
feel
think
like
cables?
there's another float that's just as high or close to that height that still would hit the...
Mac maybe. I guess Mac might. Yeah, I think the cables. Maybe the cables are going away.
Which I can see Inside Out being part of Paint the Night, but I was really hoping for Moana.
Oh, okay.
But I'm
Pixar
almost.
Fest.
Do you remember when Inside Out came out? They had that pre-show.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just that float.
Oh,
that they're gonna put.
Well, they got to put a lot of lights on it to do it. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't
They'll
surprise
just
me.
like put LED in the memories. And...
Wouldn't surprise me. I do hear that when there are rumors that when this all happens, World of Color is actually going to go dark for a very long time for a major refurbishment, which I don't think it's. I don't think that's happened since it opened. And of course, I'm sure it'll come back with a brand new show. It's all rumor at this point, but that's the talk. Also, I'm hearing California Screaming's going dark in January for 6 months. Hey guys, it's Jeff, and I've got a question for you. Have you ever hired a travel agent and realized that instead of planning your dream vacation, they were planning their own instead? They just weren't listening to your wants and needs. Well, I've got a solution for you thanks to our Season 4 sponsor. Adventure is Out There Travel specializes in making sure that you get to do exactly what you want on your next Disney dream vacation. What specific type of magic do you want coming your way on the Disney vacation? They'll find out and hook you up, taking care of all of the heavy lifting. They're a full-service travel agency specializing in cruises, tours, single-night stays, and of course, the Disney vacation of a lifetime. So go ahead and visit adventureisoutthere.travel.com for your free, no-obligation quote. There's also this rumor out there about a new patent that Disney has put out for a track-based swing ride with long arm pendulum. And in this patent, Disney mentioned 2 properties, which is kind of abnormal for them to do when they mention patents, but they said it would be like swinging on a vine with Tarzan or web slinging and swinging through the city with Spider-Man is the way that they describe the sensation they're trying to create with this ride vehicle.
This arm thing, and you're at the bottom, and it'd be like, woo.
Yeah. It reminded me of the seat was like 4 people lined up on a bench, very reminiscent of Forbidden Journey at Wizarding World, but on a long arm from above as opposed to from below. Now, if this is the Spider-Man ride that we keep hearing about for Disney California Adventure, I'm excited about it. It looks kind of terrifying, but it also looks very exciting.
Yeah.
I've always said Disney has a very tough job when it comes to building a Spider-Man attraction because the one at Islands of Adventure is so cool and I still think super unique even to this day, even though it's been, almost 20 years for that park. It's been 18 years. So that's exciting to me. I just don't know the fact that they specifically mentioned Tarzan and Spider-Man in the patent. They know the public gets their hands on this stuff. That's the only thing that makes me say that.
It's going to be a mixture of both.
That would be weird.
Spider-Man and
Spider-Man meets Tarzan. All right.
The ride.
So I don't know, but it's exciting to think about. I think it would be cool.
I saw the diagram of the ride vehicle, and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it honestly looks scary.
I can see how it can work, though.
Yeah.
But I also am wondering about the amount of space you would need if they're going through practical sets or like what.
My guess is if you're doing a Spider-Man, it's going to be a lot of screens. But I think it would be more like a Harry Potter type thing where you're going from room to room with the screens, not one location. And in fact, that's what the patent says. It says track-based swing ride with long... Yeah, track-based. So there would be a track.
On the top.
Yep.
Like similar to like Peter Pan.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
Well, moving over to Disneyland Paris, they're getting an event called the Disney FanDaze, FanDaze.
Where'd they get that Z idea, huh?
I don't know. Where they're celebrating Disney fans. Over June 2018, they'll feature one-of-a-kind shows, rare, never-before-seen characters, encounters, live entertainment, iconic attractions, tasty treats, and exclusive merchandise. An opportunity to fans to dress up to the park. It almost seems like our like limited time magic kind of celebration.
Yeah, now
I don't know.
I saw this and I honestly thought of you. I was like, Pat would love this. Like this, I would love this. This sounds super cool. So a dance for DuckTales parade? Yes, please. Yes. Max Live getting goofy with it. Apparently featuring Powerline like music.
That's fun.
Yes, please.
Fun times.
New classic character outfits. I don't go as crazy over this, but I know a lot of people who love meet and greets. When those character has new outfits, they freak out, as is kind of going on over at DCA right now with all the Halloween stuff.
Yeah.
And now here's a promise that I find interesting. 2 rare characters who have never appeared together in the history of Disney parks.
Together.
Yeah, who do you think that could be? I'm trying to think, like, what 2 characters would you expect? Now, they don't say they're 2 new characters. 2 characters, it sounds like we've seen them individually before, but not together in the parks. So I'm like, who am I dying to see together that we've never seen together? And I have no idea.
I don't know either.
Chip and Dale.
That's it.
That would be a first.
But it's like, to say they've never been together in the history of the park is like a lot.
Yeah.
There's so many of like those like just massive...
Which makes me think at least one of them must be brand new. Like, I would love to see, like, Roger Rabbit and, like, what's the judge's name? What's the Christopher Lloyd's character's name?
Oh, was he a character
Doom?
in the park?
No, but that would be great if that were a new character. Like,
guess.
Is it Doom? Did I make that up? I don't know. He's a judge, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's going to comment below. I'm sorry. I don't know my Roger Rabbit history.
I'm, like, trying to think of who I would want to
I know. I don't know, but I find it very intriguing that like that was made. And of course, treats and souvenirs, and you're inspired to Disney bound as well. So sounds like a fun event.
FanDaze.
It's one weekend. It's the first weekend in June of 2018. That's going to be crowded park.
If you're in Disneyland Paris.
Yeah, head over to the Disneyland Paris Resort to experience the FanDaze. Sounds cool.
It's going to be Maleficent and then a dragon costume.
Okay. Hey, listen. Okay, have you seen the Ursula costume in the Disneyland parade? Oh my goodness, the Disneyland Halloween parade has this Ursula costume
That's it. It's gonna be Ursula and Ariel.
Oh, you okay?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just stealing my voice.
No, that Ursula costume's cool. But anyway, moving on. Now, Disney has some interesting rebranding going on these days. They have teamed up as part of the Movies Anywhere app. This might sound familiar because Disney
I have that.
You have the Movies Anywhere?
Disney Movies Anywhere.
Okay, so yeah, Disney Movies Anywhere has been around for a long time. It's where I have all my digital downloads of Disney movies. But now they're dropping the Disney, and it's just Movies Anywhere, and they're partnering with studios like Universal, Sony, WB, 20th Century Fox. And this is interesting to me. It's great as a consumer because I like all my stuff in one place. It's very annoying to have to log into different things anytime you want to access something. But as a person who like is used to Disney really wanting, they're kind of like Mac in a way where or Apple. Do people call it Mac anymore? Or am I like an 80-year-old man?
Yeah.
Apple. Where like they have their own proprietary system and like it's just theirs.
Yeah. I'm
so used to that I'm like, this seems a little bit off brand for Disney, but as a consumer enjoy it. The good news is if you do have movies in Disney Movies Anywhere, they will transfer to Movies Anywhere. I still need to do that, so
Me too.
I got to get on top of that. But I don't know. I was surprised by this announcement. Were you?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's nice having all in one. I don't, I like, now that I'm thinking of it, I'm like, how many digitals do I own that are actually on those other platforms? I don't know, because all my movies are basically Disney movies.
Yeah,
so I'll still have just a lot of Disney movies that go over.
Yeah, I don't think I have any. Like the only, I think everything I've digitally purchased is Disney. Yeah, so it's a little weird, but it's not the only app and online situation that's being changed. What else is going on?
Oh yeah, well, speaking of rebranding, the Disney Store has entirely rebranded to Shop Disney, which actually
Now this is just online, right?
This is just online. I like noticed, but then didn't. Like last week, I typed in Disney Store and it brought me to Shop Disney, and I was like, has that always been? And I just assumed it's always been like that, but apparently it hasn't. So here you'll Shop Disney, which was the Disney Store online. You'll find everything that was on the Disney Store plus licensed Disney content as well now. So that is third-party brands that have the Disney license and able to sell Disney merchandise too.
Yeah, so lots of changes in like the digital Disney World, lots of rebranding going on. It's always a little weird getting used to change, but hopefully it's all being plussed. That's always the hope and desire for that to happen. Also, another one, the Disney Now is a TV app. It seems to be geared for younger folks, but it's called Disney Now, and this is basically where you can get any of your favorite Disney Channel shows on there, as well as emojis and games and stuff like that. This is specifically for TV. So that's three things: Movies Anywhere, Shop Disney, and Disney Now, all going through some changes.
Yeah, online rebranding.
Yeah, speaking of TV, though, what's going on in the TV world?
What's going on in the TV world? Now, back, was it this year or last year, there was a Freaky Friday musical that debuted at La Jolla over in San Diego. Well, now I don't know if it's the same. Is it the same music? Okay, so that whole musical is being transferred to a Disney Channel movie. So in 2018, we were getting a Freaky Friday musical coming to Disney Channel.
I gotta be honest, I think this is great.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a huge fan of the Freaky Friday franchise. I honestly don't know if I've ever seen the Lindsay Lohan one beginning to end.
Like Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis, iconic.
Yes, individually for different reasons. But I did not go see Freaky Friday the Musical in La Jolla. I was interested, but not interested enough to drive 2 hours and pay that money for it. The intention, from what I've read and heard, the intention was never for this musical to go to Broadway. It was very much like Newsies, even though that had a much different end. The intention was to create it to be licensed out to different regional theaters and high schools and stuff. So I actually think making a TV movie of it is a way to legitimize it.
Yes.
And therefore, more regional theaters and high schools and such will be interested in licensing it. So I think it's a very smart business move. I also just like it because I would like to see the show.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I do remember listening to a track from it when it was at La Jolla, and I thought it was a beautiful music.
Yeah, I haven't heard any music for it. I'm pretty sure it did 2 runs too. It did the La Jolla run, and then it went to Texas.
It did a mini tour, from what I understand.
I was gonna say, I know it was in Texas at one point. I was like, that was random.
Yeah, and it sounds like, I don't have all the casting details, but it does sound like something.
I do.
Okay, great.
Heidi Blinkenstaff and Cozy Zuhldorf.
Zulsdorf.
You guys can correct me on that. So Heidi is from The Little Mermaid, Something Rotten, and it was in the Freaky Friday musical.
Yeah.
And then Cozy, she's the mom. Heidi's the mom. Cozy is from Dolphin Tale and Liv and Maddie, so she's a Disney Channel alum.
Yeah.
So we'll be getting that in 2018.
Yeah. So some of the people from the stage show are definitely transferring. We got a new DCOM coming.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it should be cool.
A lot of musicals have that zombie cheerleader one coming too.
Oh, I'm actually interested in that one. It looks terrible. But man, zombies I actually hate zombies, but I don't
Zombies,
know.
cheerleaders, and musicals.
That sounds like a winning combination to me. And now for some related news that we've been waiting for and dreading all at the same time. It is official. Hocus Pocus is returning, but sadly not in the way that at least I was wanting.
Anyone wants.
I don't understand this. It's honestly so out of left field that I kind of don't believe it, even though it's been officially announced by Disney.
Yeah.
I'm like, they've got to have something else up their sleeves. What we're talking about is Hocus Pocus is not getting a sequel. It is getting a remake. It is not going to the movie theater. It is going to be on Disney Channel. It is not starring Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, or Kathy Najimy. It has a new cast involved. Kenny Ortega is not involved. The original producer, David Kirshner, is involved, but aside from that, I have no idea what they're thinking. I don't know what they're thinking. Why would you remake this movie?
And I think all of the 90% of the reactions have been negative.
This is
so
not
far.
good. I tweeted this out jokingly, but honestly, seriously, I was like, I swear to God, I think as a community, will stop pestering you for a sequel if you cancel this remake. Just cancel it,
don't make
please.
it.
Will I tune in? Yeah, I will. But I am absolutely against this.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can have, and I just saw a video of Kenny Ortega presenting the original film at the El Capitan, and he once again said, guys, would love to make a sequel. Keep telling Disney. So I don't know if he's in on it or what. I just don't understand this, at all. What are they thinking? This is bizarre to me. Yeah, it's like, let's make a lesser version of a movie.
Yeah. It's going to be animated.
I'd honestly rather that.
Me too.
I would rather that. At least that would be a completely different sort of medium for it. I don't get this, but I don't believe that this is the end of Hocus Pocus news. I think I'm torn because I feel like part of this is let's get them ready for a sequel. But then I'm like, well, kind of. I mean, if we're already
ready.
We've seen the
you have a stage show at a Halloween party. It's played every year at El Cap now.
Yeah,
it's
there's new official merchandise out there.
Yeah,
I've seen in the Halloween stores this year. Disney really hasn't put out a ton of official Hocus Pocus merch this year. Totally not true. There is a good amount of Hocus Pocus.
There is a demand for it.
There is a demand, and I think they recognize that.
Disney Channel's not the way to do it.
And it's so weird. I know there's other stuff going on at Disney that is Hocus Pocus related. This is bizarre.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Please comment below on YouTube. Let us know how you guys feel about this. I'm assuming most of you probably feel the same way as us, but I am curious if any of you are excited about this and what you're excited about.
And who will the casting be?
And that scares me because seriously,
it's going to be Disney Channel stars.
Yeah, it's going to be it's why would you no.
Well, speaking of remakes, if you remember the 1980s film Flight of the Navigator,
this one I'm excited about.
That's getting remade.
It is.
So it's not getting remade by Disney.
No.
It's getting remade by Lionsgate. Mm-hmm. But the Henson Company is keeping a close eye on the production.
Yeah.
So because it's not being remade by Disney, I feel like it'll be a little bit darker.
Sure. I remember growing up loving this movie.
Yeah.
But don't have a ton of memories of it. Did you watch this movie as a kid?
Long time ago.
I remember renting it from Blockbuster and watching it on Disney Channel and just loving it. Paul Rubens, aka Pee Wee Herman, is the voice of the ship. Any fan of Disney's Hollywood Studios who loved the Backlot Tour probably remembers that big silver ship that was part of their boneyard for a very long time. I am very curious where the ship is now. Maybe it's being reused for the movie. I doubt it.
Somewhere.
But it's a fun movie. It was released. I don't even think it was originally made by Disney. I think it was just released by Disney. It was released
by Disney, yeah.
And yeah, this one I'm kind of curious about. It's obviously not as iconic as Hocus Pocus. So I'm like, go play, have fun. Mm-hmm. But Hocus Pocus, oh god, never it. Speaking of movies, though, we got some potentially, I guess, bad news from Walt Disney Animation. Gigantic has been completely shelved.
Yeah,
it is no longer being worked on at the studio. I gotta be honest, not surprised.
Yeah.
We saw snippets of it at
2015
Expo.
D23. That's they had that whole beanstalk they put in the
I remember
actual pavilion area. We heard a song, but this year nothing was shown.
Nothing.
That's because nothing has been worked on.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out in 2020. Apparently, they already have a new project in line that will be replacing its release date. But yeah, it's gone. This one was having music done by the Lopez's, who of course wrote the music for Frozen. From what I hear, it's just been really difficult development. They just couldn't get people on the same page. And frankly, like, if that's the case, the right thing to do is to stop production and just move on. Doesn't mean we'll never hear from it again. Walt certainly, worked on films like Beauty and the Beast, and that got shelved. And then in 91, we got Something Brilliant. So, not necessarily the end for a Jack and the Beanstalk story for Disney Animation, but we're not getting gigantic.
Nope.
And I'm okay with it. That's fine. What else is going on in the movie?
Well, if you were on the internet or around anywhere this past week, you probably have seen the new Star Wars The Last Jedi trailer that was released. And
people went crazy.
It was released. I bought my ticket right after.
Did you see? I'm just not that diehard. I love Star Wars. I'm just not that diehard, and I find it so funny because I see this trailer and I'm like, yeah, it looks like a Star Wars movie.
Looks great.
And then everybody else is like, it's amazing! Like losing their minds.
But not only did we get the trailer, we got a new poster as well, which is a beautiful poster. Carrie Fisher is right in the center as General Organa, which is
yeah. So the Carrie Fisher stuff in the trailer, that's a little bit of a gut punch when you see that. Like, oh, it's gonna be like pretty much exactly 1 year from when she passed away, and it's so difficult knowing that Episode 9 was supposed to have a lot of Princess Leia, and now they're going to be forced not to. And I'm like, oh, how you can't just rewrite a Star Wars story?
It's General Organa now.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, General Organa. It's hard to know that like a lot of the story is going to be changed because of that.
What I do really like about this trailer is after watching it, I still have really no clue what's going on, which I like.
Okay.
I like. A lot of people wanted to avoid the trailer to avoid spoilers. I think there's some you can inference or get some stuff out of it, but I do think a lot of what they've shown is like it's throwing. It's supposed to throw you off. Like there's a scene toward the end where now I'm just blanking on everyone's names.
Oh yeah,
Ray is asking for help, and then it cuts to Kylo like reaching out his hand. I think those are totally two different scenes.
Kylo Ren has one of the sexiest voices on earth. I love his digitized voice.
We're going for
yes,
now?
I love it. Like
he's got a new scar.
Oh, the scar's beautiful. What else was I gonna say?
Can we talk about porgs?
Yeah, okay, people flipped out over the Furby.
The porg
flipped out. Now, is this the first we're seeing and or hearing of this creature?
No.
Oh, okay.
Porgs have been, but they released porgs and there's a bunch of porg merchandise, but there's more porg in this, and we also have that like
people freaked out.
That crystalline fox. People are saying that Star Wars is turning into Pokemon because there's so many new like creatures that are popping out.
Gotta catch them all.
Yeah.
What, catch them all, get them all.
Gotta catch them all.
Catch them all.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Chewie has a new friend now, and it's a porg.
Nice. And of course, we saw BB-8 in there. I think my favorite moment is probably Luke Skywalker's when he I'm gonna butcher this quote. I apologize, Star Wars fans, but he goes, "I've seen power like this before, but I wasn't scared of it. Now I am." I was like, "Whoa, that's quite a beautiful statement."
The biggest thing between the trailer and the poster and a lot of the marketing is Luke is now in this Darth Vader position of posters. Like if you look at all the posters where Darth Vader is, Luke is kind of in that position now. And I've seen marketing of IMAX put out a picture of their like marketing billboards, and it's like choose the light side, choose the dark side, and Luke is on both sides. And I was like, what is happening?
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
December. Not as excited over the trailers. A lot of you.
You buy your ticket?
No,
I bought my ticket.
No, I'll see it opening weekend at some point, if not before. But yeah, I don't need to be in the first audience. It's all good. But in any case, that's lots of news. Lots of great news. Lots of good and upsetting news that has come out recently. So thanks for joining us. But I think that means It's trivia time! Hey folks, and welcome to Trivia Time. Today on the show, I have Rob, who is a YouTuber under the name Rob Plays, who does fantastic videos all about the history of Disney and the parks and everything. Welcome to the show, Rob.
Thanks, Jeff. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, how long have you been doing your YouTube channel? It's a great channel. I came across it pretty recently, but I'm very impressed by it.
Oh, thank you. So I guess I've been doing it for almost 5 years now, but as far as like the Disney content, and specifically the Disney content that I think people are finding, I've only been doing that for about a year and a half now.
What were you doing before that?
Disney video game content. And then before that, it was just video game content. It's a very weird path where I just kept going from one to the other. And I think about a year and a half ago, I decided, you know what, I would rather do one thing well than a whole bunch of things all right. And so I just went full Disney because I love Disney, and it's been just sort of growing from there.
That's fantastic. It definitely seems to be working for you, so keep doing it. I really like the videos. Today we're here to talk about trivia about Disney's Hollywood Studios. Since you're the guest on the show, why don't you hit me with a question first?
Sure. So Hollywood Studios was originally born from the idea of expanding an attraction concept in another park into a full park. What was the attraction / building, and where was it going to be?
So it was the Great Movie Ride with a different name. I think it was called Great Moments at the Movies, and it was originally planned for part of Future World and Epcot. Is that correct?
You nailed it. Yep.
I think I may have learned that from a video on your channel, to be honest. Or at least heard it there as well. Was that the name of the ride, Great Moments at the Movies?
I don't know if they had settled on a final actual name. I knew that they were focusing on a whole Hollywood pavilion that would go in Future World, and Michael Eisner sort of saw the potential in that. And it was like they saw the potential of that becoming its own attraction and own park, but it was also they were starting to feel the pressure of Universal wanting to build a Florida theme park, and they needed something to compete with it a little bit, and it was just sort of like killing two birds with one stone sort of situation there.
Yeah, when I was doing research for trivia, I came across, I had never heard this before, I wonder if you have, that the original concept of the ride was actually not for audio animatronic figures. They wanted the celebrity lookalikes, essentially, like portraying the roles in the ride. Had you heard that before?
I had not, but I can kind of see it. Like, it seems like that would have been within the style of, Eisner's sort of era.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, that would have been very difficult to keep casting people, but
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I really want to know what's going to happen to those audio animatronic figures. I'm sure the answer is they're going to get pulled apart, but I was really hoping for the Great Movie Restaurant. I really was.
That would have been a cool idea. I mean, they like to reuse their animatronics a lot. So who knows? You might end up seeing, that said, I guess these are all celebrities. So it's going to be hard to like blend them into other attractions. I know like you have some presidents in Spaceship Earth, but maybe they'll do that with these.
Maybe they'll put a beard on Mary Poppins in some attraction, and we'll find her somewhere else. That would be funny. Anyway, for my trivia question for you is: of the 4 Walt Disney World parks, what is, as far as size of the parks, 1, 2, 3, and 4? Where does Disney's Hollywood Studios lie? So first would be the biggest park. 4th would be the smallest park. Where does it lie?
I'm going to go through process elimination. I believe Animal Kingdom's the largest. I think Epcot's second. So I'm going to say it's last. Is it the 4th?
Surprisingly, this is incorrect. It's 3rd.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I was shocked by this as well. Disney's Hollywood Studios is around 135 acres. The Magic Kingdom is apparently around 105 acres.
Wow. I would never have thought that.
Me neither. I'm going to have to guess a lot of this might just be like soundstage space that really isn't part of the theme park, because walking around the theme park, it definitely feels smaller than the Magic Kingdom. So I'm guessing some of this 135 acres is just production space that guests don't really travel around. But
yeah, I also wonder how much of it has to do with the fact that the Magic Kingdom's sort of like the hub and spoke model, and because the Hollywood Studios it kind of, maybe since there's less pathways to walk around, it just creates that feeling that it's a smaller area.
Possibly, yeah. I was very surprised to read this. I would have bet money that Disney's Hollywood Studios was the smallest of the 4 parks by far.
Yeah.
So I was surprised. But anyway.
And it's also, I mean, that's a park that's changed a lot in size over the years. I mean, I know
That's
it
true.
opened, it was like a half-day park, so you keep adding on. I'd be interested to see what its total size will be once everything's finished being built and you count all of that space.
Yeah, that's true as well. Anyway, cool. Well, thanks for joining on Trivia Time, folks. Make sure you check out Rob Plays on YouTube. I'll put a link below in the description on YouTube. And have a fantastic day. Thanks for joining us.
Anytime. Thanks.
Okay, folks, thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed that trivia. Of course, before we go, we got some shout-outs.
Shout out.
You ready to shout it out?
Shout it out.
I'm going to have you shout it out.
Okay, we're shouting out. Over on iTunes, of course, to get a shout out, all you have to do is leave a 5-star review, and these people did, so here they go. Nicole Keo 13.
Woohoo!
Thanks for your 5-star review. Here's your shout out.
Shout out, Nicole Keo 13.
We also got Alexis_M.
Alexis M, this is your shout
And that's
out.
Alexis with a Y, not an I. Original. I like it.
Thank you, Alexis.
And then, of course, my friend Kendall. Literally, her username is my friend Kendall. So I guess we're friends now.
Yeah.
Thank you for leaving a 5-star review. Of course, if you want a shout out, all you have to do is leave a 5-star review on iTunes. That simple.
And thank you to everybody who has. You help other Disney fans find the show, so it's very, very helpful. But I think that's going to do it for us this week. So, guys, have a magical week, everybody. Bye.
Thanks for watching Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.